I'm a tricky little swine, I'm a trickster. I'm a raven, I'm a playful coyote. Looking for mischief.
Because I'm so well dressed, people think he must be gay.
No.
Look at his wonderful haircut, he must be gay. Look how sensitive and vulnerable he is, he must be gay.
That's right.
That means women feel safe around me, they trust me, then bang, pregnant, bang, pregnant, bang, pregnant.
Here you go, love. Be careful, because that's a low-cut dress.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm only flesh and blood. I've got instincts.
Oh, okay.
What do you think that gesture means, the way you're touching that bottle? What does that indicate? What is that? What's the subtext of that?
I think we gotta go to break.
I wanted it to be an expressionistic biscuit, like, say, Fritz Lang's Metropolis demonstrating birth, but in shortbread. And around her, the vagina, through which we all enter life, the placenta is at the bottom, standing next to me.
You were classified as a sex addict. I'm going to blush, but what's too much?
I can't hurt you from there, Liz.
What is too much sex?
Well, look, it's not with addiction. I think what it is any behaviour that you engage in compulsively, even though it's detrimental to your life. If when you're taking drugs or eating chocolate or having sex, it's making your life worse, and yet you cannot stop, that's addiction, and you should look at it.
How is it destructive for you?
Well, if you're sleeping with so many people that you can't get to work, or you're not being properly discerning about who the people are that you're sleeping with, people sort of, then eventually you're going to get into trouble. Just there's a numbers game, isn't it? Sooner or later it's going to be a married person, or you're going to pick up something unforgivable and unrelenting. But I've been very, very lucky. Liz, that's your fault. Because you took your eye off the road, because things was getting a bit fruity out there. All right, Liz, goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's been really a wonderful experience. See you later, Liz.
Russell.
All right, take care.
Russell, I can undo your bra just like this.
Liz, I love you. You're doing it, it becomes problematic, you can't stop it. Well, it becomes problematic when you think, oh, I might like to be in a relationship with one person now, and you try, and then you sort of can't, because one, I think people that have a lot of sex with strangers often find intimacy with one person challenging. That's certainly true in my case.
Is it because you're spreading it out thin instead of going deep?
Yeah, that's a really simple way of putting it. I think it is that.
When you, for example, with sex, drugs and things like that, people might say, hey man, look, you ever think about you're doing too much of this? Guys don't get that with sex, right? Your friends never go, look man, you're having too much sex, we need to tone it down. People are going, you're my hero.
Yeah, that's right. And I noticed that a lot of how I would relate to men was about, like, I felt powerful among men because other men knew that I would sleep with a lot of women. Now, what I have since learned is that a necessary component of that was that I was not respecting what it was like for the people I was having sex with, even though, of course, they were people that were, what's so amazing about being famous is it's people that are willing and excited and up for it, and there's a constant flow, and it's sort of unbelievable in one respect. But the problem is, of course, that now I know, now that I'm awakened, that one moment at a time, that these are human beings, and once you realise, oh, they're probably doing that for they've got their own motivation, because they're not going to feel any better for having sex with a famous person, except for the brief moment of orgasm, which I did used to try to guarantee, Jordan. Other than that, you're involving yourself in an exchange that isn't necessarily going to be beneficial. So what lies on the other side of addiction? That's what's interesting. What lies on the other side of the compulsion? You want to have sex with someone and you don't. What happens? You start to get nervous. You start to get anxious. Well, you have to go through that pain at some point, because if you live constantly confined by your unwillingness to go through pain, you do not develop into who you are supposed to be. I lived in that cycle, and then when I couldn't, it meant I became kind of stagnant spiritually.
So if you mean that you have to go through that cycle of pain in order to get through the addiction, did the addiction, this sounds dumb now that I'm verbalizing it, but did then the addiction start because of pain?
Yes. Addiction, this isn't really not dumb, it's perhaps the most important observation that can be made about addiction, is that addiction begins with pain and ends with pain. You're in pain, you introduce some secondary agent to deal with the pain, then that might even make you feel worse, so you're back in pain and you do it again. It's very obvious when it's drugs, it's less obvious when it's pornography. People feel ashamed. If someone's trying to be faithful in a relationship and they sleep with other people outside the relationship, they feel ashamed when they do it. And then the feeling of shame is so bad, and it's not always the right thing to tell the other person. They get to feel worse, they do it again. Food, it's the same process. People, you feel awful, you're in pain, you feel lonely, you eat too much food, you make yourself puke, you feel ashamed, you do it again. At some point this cycle has to be broken. This is one of the things I found myself saying, and I think it's pretty true, Jordan. We're working a program. I've got a program already. My program is I want drugs, I want sex, I want people to like me, I want money, I want prestige. And if I don't intervene with that, like a sort of a waterfall, it just rushes away. The method and that perspective of addiction that I have is that addiction as a drive, if you drill down, this thing is a will to power, whether you call it obsession, compulsion, whatever it is. It's like it's a yearning, a hunger. What does it want? What does it want, this hunger? Now, once I'm awakened, I can watch it a little bit more, do you see? So it doesn't mean, right, I'm not going to become a yogi or a monk or someone that lives in a cave and meditates all day. That's not, I don't think, my path. I'm going to be involved with the material world. I have a wife, I have a baby, I've got bees, damn it.
Yeah, you got bees. There's no going back. No, you can't abandon the bees.
You can't unbee yourself.
No.
And now when I see myself thinking that, I just sort of go, that's just that habit you have in your mind. Don't take it too seriously. Your thoughts become the first layer of the outside world. Your cognitive activity, your thoughts, no longer define you. You start to recognise it as just a pattern in your mind. Oh, I always think stuff like that. Don't worry about it too much. And I go, oh no, I'm so shallow. I want everyone to love me. I just go, oh yeah, that's just a habit you picked up somewhere. That I try to be the experiencer, the consciousness that watches those patterns.
As someone, a teacher of mine once said, all forms of desire are the inappropriate substitute for the desire to be at one with God.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But the only things that I would sort of confidently pass on and inculcate is 12 steps. That's the only thing, because that's the only thing that I've 100% sort of has, it works for me. But I feel that there's as many versions of recovery as there are addicts, and I think we're all addicts to some degree. Lust, usually when we talk about it, we mean sexual lust, don't we? And that, I suppose, is problematic because of the presumed objectification, meaning looking at the object of our lust and saying that object, presumably, let's say it's a human being, will say, oh, it only exists for me to consume. It only exists as a kind of product. It's a commodity. It's a commodity for me to practice my feelings upon.
I've paid for sex before. I've slept with... I will not say I've slept with prostitutes because I would not denigrate those women with that term. I prostituted them. I participated in sin. I objectified them. So keen to worship at false altars that I allowed myself and other people to be denigrated. I desecrated his code. The one word that hit me so hard in Corinthians, when Paul says to them, did you not know that your body is a temple? It's the did you not know that gets me. Did you not know that your body is a temple? Did no one tell you that it's sacred, that you are beautiful?